Bula- Bulavinakisa, today on my lesson plan is based on a literature, specifically on poetry, year 13, literature on year 13 under the theme gender. The topic of my lesson is my neighbor. So the duration of my lesson is 1 hour. This is my lesson preparation. So I'll need 4 things for my lesson preparations. And the previous knowledge at this point, a student should already have known. This is like this lesson is a continuous lesson. So under the theme gender, there are 2 topics. My neighbor and the woman. So this is a continuous lesson, as I said before. So at the through the previous knowledge of the students, so they should have already known what is poetry, what is about poetry. They have been doing poetry since from Form 3 till Form 7, the figures of speech and the style of writing. There are some other features of poetry, themes and rhythm, style. So those are what are expected to known by the students. The lesson summary. So in this lesson of mine, it focuses on the gender poem written by it is written by Konai Heli Theman, my neighbor. So this is a continuous lesson. Students should be able to familiarize themselves with the poems and are ready to learn a new chapter as this topic to be proceed. So this poem tells us about how fortunate we are to have a good Samaritans in our communities or society. The persona elaborates about the neighbor's good deeds. However, appropriately, this neighbor support women's rights and frequently beats up his wife. So this is about the lesson that is going to be proceed during the class. This is the summary of a whole lesson. It's about a poem. So the learning objectives, the cognitive, students are able to, should at the end of the lesson, a student should be able to identify the figure of speech, style of writing of the poem and the themes of the poem. Psychomotor, it is to instruct and train the students to understand the figures of speech. So I have to instruct and I have to let them understand the figures of speech of the poem, the style of writing, and the features that they could understand the poem well, so that they can understand. And affective is to evaluate the value the poem studied, so that they are more familiarized with it. So these are my teaching resources: Blackboard, chalk. So in the lesson developments introduction, it is for 5 minutes. So I will greet the students, and before I will start the class, I'll have a motivational activity just to awaken the students' mind to be active during the class. And I will play Chinese whisper game, and Chinese whisper game. I'll say the word for them to pass it around. Then we'll begin with the class. After the Chinese whisper, then I'll introduce and discuss the title of the poem. So the title of the poem is My Neighbor. I will ask um, I will ask some of the questions. What do they understand about the topic My Neighbor, or if they have heard about this poem before, or if they have read the poem before, or if they have heard it somewhere, and what comes into their mind when they hear or see the topic My Neighbor. So in that point, the student activity is to respond to the teacher's greeting, to respond to the motivational activity, and for them to ask the questions, and they are willing to answer some of the questions that I've asked. And the content summary is class overview and the introductions of and the introduction of the topic. And the developments in this phase, it is focuses on the main point of the lesson, which is 40 minutes, like 40 minutes of the class. The teacher activity is to read the poem together with the class. So this is where I will read the poem together with the class, and I will write down the note on the blackboard. And as it is in bracket, as you can see, it will show the students, will show the students a brief themes on the lesson and chat. So this is where my chat will come in. The topics of the themes will be just on chat, and they have to read it out loud, and the notes will be written on the board. and discuss the notes thoroughly to ask the students and ask some of the other questions regarding the notes given. So I will ask what do they understand about the notes, what they have learned from the notes from their own point of view. As the student activity, they will read the poem with the teacher, they will copy down the notes on the board, and they'll respond to all the activities given. And for that, the activities, it will be in two groups. So as for developments, more back to developments, um, the discussion of notes, it will be discussed thoroughly to the students, and the writing the chat. My teaching aid I'll be using chat just to elaborate more about the theme, and it will be designed as a as an E13 to understand to their own cognitive knowledge. So the content summary is referred to the notes and preparing the charts for the group activities. So that is all for my lesson plan 1, the introduction. We'll play Chinese Whisper and discuss the title of the poem. Is all the questions that we'll be asking. The conclusion, it will all sum up the class summary, follow up the assessment of objectives. So it is asked verbal, and this is my lesson notes, the plot, theme. So this theme and style all will be written in the chart as their topic, each topic, and the group activity. So that's all I have for my lesson plan 1. Vinaka.